Hi everybody. Today's episode 1557 features video snippets from ACLJ, Trade War, also from Bannons, MAGA Agenda, plus from Devory Darkins, Kash Patel, and wrapping up with Wendy Bell, the closer. Highlights begin today, May 9, 2025, at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Don't miss this great lineup.
Help keep free speech alive. Please join Murtech on Locals, Truth Social and on X.
From ACLJ, Sekulow, Trump reveals big win in trade war.
From Bannons' War Room, Ed Martin to take on new role in Trump admin as Senate Republicans fail to deliver MAGA agenda.
From Devory Darkins, Kash Patel drops bomb on Congress as Trump refuses to back down.
And from Wendy Bell Radio, the closer.
Don't miss this great live stream with Murtech on Rumble tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for all your support and may God bless. Oh, by the way, don't forget to follow me and click the thumbs up button. Thanks again.
For you today. Let's go ahead and click over here, Murtech on Rumble. This is the video that you're watching right now, my live stream through Rumble Studio. All right, Debbie BS has given us a chat, started the chats out. All right, let's slide down here and click the Show More button to see what's in the description box. And we have information from ACLJ Sekulow, Bannons' War Room, Devory Darkins, and Wendy Bell Radio. But before we get into that, I do want to come down here and give a shout out to Rumble Nighter 61, just started following my channel. TC Hen 389 just started following my channel, or T Chen. Don M Hammer just started following my channel, and B Zazzle 28 just started following my channel. So thank you very much, folks, for following my channel. I greatly appreciate that. I sincerely appreciate your support. So thank you very much. Also, Debbie BS gave me a comment on my extra 342A, and she gave me a comment on my extra 342B, and RealNewsDFW gave me a comment on my extra 343C. So let me give this a thumbs up here. Now watch how easy this is. Watch. Boom. There it is. It's just like magic. Okay, and speaking of comments, I have a comment of the day from RealNewsDFW. Let's go ahead and click on that. And it says, I found Turley thanks to you. Thanks. So, hey, you're welcome. Real News DFW. Thank you for the comment. And that's what I'm doing here, folks, is just trying to reveal information out there for as many people as I possibly can to try to get the truth out, because we're being lied to so much by the Democrats and the lying legacy media and the deep state and the swamp and the shadow government and everyone else. All I'm trying to do is get out the truth. So thank you, Real News DFW. I appreciate that. All right, well, let's get into this. ACLJ Sekulow, Trump reveals big win in trade war. Okay, let's see what that's all about. Rumble's acting a little slow tonight for some reason. I tried to go to Rumble earlier today, and it said site not found. So I hope that it's going to work for us. Hello, see, oh, isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Okay, let's get back here. I'll tell you what, let's come over here and try to click there. All right. I don't understand. Sorry, folks. Hey, this is out of my hands. I might try to go to Devory Darkins first and then come back to this because, yeah, Devory Darkins is on YouTube. So, okay. So, sorry about the issues we're having here, folks. Let me come down here to Devory Darkins and let's play this. Then we'll come back up and try to get a hold of ACLJ and Bannons War Room and Wendy Bell. Okay. Let me back this up for you to the beginning, if I can. And okay, and give you a full screen here. And here we go.
Kash Patel make a stunning announcement today. President Trump is refusing to back down from China, and Senator John Fetterman reacts to the smear campaign from his own party.
Our children, if you harm our children, you will be given no sanctuary. There is no place we will not come to hunt you down. There is no place we will not look for you. And there is no cage we will not put you in should you do harm to our children. The prioritization of this administration and General Bondi has made it abundantly clear to child predators, you will be hunted down and you will be prosecuted.
Okay, so let's give some credit to Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. We love to hear that people are being arrested for committing crimes, especially when those crimes are against children. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to give you the facts. This is ground news that I'm using. If you guys want to check this out for yourself, just go to ground.news/Devory. Now, here's what happened. FBI led Operation Restore Justice. This is a 5-day nationwide effort that led to the arrest of 205 alleged child sex predators. Also, during the operation, authorities saved 115 children and apprehended suspects, including law enforcement personnel and civilians from multiple states who are now federally charged with offenses involving child exploitation. Now, here is what Pam Bondi had to say.
115 victims, children. In 5 days, we were able to help. These depraved human beings, if convicted, will face the maximum penalty in prison, some life. We will find you, we will arrest you, and we will charge you. If you are online targeting a child, you will not escape us. The FBI and the Department of Justice will come after you, and we will prosecute you.
So it's already sickening that people are doing this to children, right? God's children is what I would call them. What's also sickening is how the media is reporting on this story, which is why we're using ground news. Like I said, if you guys want to check this out for yourself, just go to ground.news/Devory. This tool shows you what both sides of the political spectrum is saying. And in this situation, only the right is reporting on these stories. That's called blind spot, ladies and gentlemen. The people on the left do not want to talk about this. So as an example here, as you can see, 66% of the articles lean right. And so it just begs the question, what is the left so afraid of when it comes to reporting on this story? This is why you have to have a tool that helps you do your own research like Ground News. So if you want to use this tool for yourself, all you have to do is go to ground.news/ and it's going to give you access.
So serious. Your child has no right to privacy on the internet. None. You have to monitor what your kids are doing, whether they're playing games on the internet, on social media, any other websites that children, teenagers frequent, an online predator can find them.
Now, as a person who has experienced sexual abuse when I was a kid, this is a soft spot for me. And so I really do applaud the FBI for doing their job. In fact, if all they did for the next 4 years was arrest child predators and members of the cartel, I would be one happy American citizen, okay? Because I think those are the most egregious crimes in our world. And what's interesting about this announcement is the timing. Kash Patel had to make an appearance on Capitol Hill to talk about the budget cuts facing the FBI. What Democrats spent their time doing is claiming that Kash Patel is weaponizing the FBI. Take a listen.
I was an impeachment manager for President Trump's second impeachment. It was a sad, solemn duty. And so I wanted to ask you about that. Mr. Patel, as you and the president continue to weaponize and investigate his perceived enemies, as you follow this blueprint, when can I, a former impeachment manager, expect the FBI at my door?
Ma'am, you want to know who was targeted by a weaponized FBI? Me. You want to know how and why?
Well,
you want to know what I'm doing to fix it?
That. Let me move on.
Well, you should
Change
read the
topics.
book because there's no enemies list on that book.
So
there are
you-
people that violated their constitutional obligations and their duties to the American people.
That's good. You
And they
gave
were
them due
rightly
process.
called out.
I'm
And you
changing
should
topics.
give that book to every one of your constituents so they can read about it.
I won't be doing that.
That's their loss.
So this is just ridiculous. They spent all this time crying about the FBI being weaponized all of a sudden, but they have forgotten what went on under Biden for 4 years. And to make matters worse, they don't even acknowledge or recognize that the FBI is now cracking down on child predators. I think we all can celebrate that no matter which side you're on. But maybe that's just too much to ask. And now we move to our next story. This is about President Trump making a shocking update about the trade war with China. And of course, Democrats in all of these hearings today are demanding answers. Unfortunately, it didn't go well with them when it came to Scott Bessent. But let's start with what the president said. Take a listen.
On the talks in Switzerland, what do you expect? What do you hope to come out of it?
We'll see. I mean, look, it's we were losing $1 trillion a year. Now we're not losing anything. You know, that's the way I look at it. We were losing with China on trade $1 trillion a year, more actually, 1.1. But let's say $1 trillion. You know what we're losing now? Nothing. That's not bad.
China said the U.S. initiated the trade talks this weekend and that its position hasn't changed. Are you still confident you can reach a deal with China?
They said we initiated. Well, I think they ought to go back and study their files. Okay, I do think that.
Are you open to pulling back your tariffs in order to get China to the negotiating table?
No.
Now, that last point was a stunning admission from the president. He's unwilling to lower tariffs. And I think that's a great thing because China is a bunch of cheaters in every sense of the word. Now, number two, he also acknowledged that it's not America who's been trying to initiate these trade talks. It's actually China. And of course, China has been pushing back and saying, nope, it's not us either. So it's a lot of back and forth in the media. That's why that meeting this weekend with Scott Bessent and their trade representative is so important. But don't tell that to Democrats because they're more obsessed with trying to, I guess, find a gotcha moment with Scott Bessent in his hearing earlier today. Take a listen.
Specifically, which countries are you close to striking deals with?
I'm sorry, Congresswoman, but that would not benefit the United States.
No. I'm asking you a question based on the statement that you made on CNBC.
And I am telling you that it would be detrimental to the interest of the United States for me to answer that question.
Why will that be detrimental?
Because as the negotiations may still be in process as we speak, as we are not at the end of the week yet, I am sure that you through your question, would not want to compromise U.S. negotiations.
Reclaiming my time.
Would you?
Yeah, so he's right. I mean, she's over there just trying to get a moment, right? Trying to go viral. Instead of focusing on the important issues like how China has been ripping us off, right? I find it interesting that they're so obsessed with who we're actually talking to instead of being obsessed with the real enemy, which is China. All right. Now, here's Scott Jennings, I say actually explaining the mindset of the White House and why they act the way that they do in regards to China. Take a listen.
Scott Bessent today under oath said we're currently negotiating with 16 of the 17 most important countries. And he'll be meeting with the Chinese this weekend when they all converge in Switzerland. I think dealing with, with all due respect to all these other countries making deals, they're small and relatively unimportant. We're the big player in the field and everybody knows it. And people would rather do business with us than do business with China because of what Jim just said. They have all these strategies to inflict pain upon you if you don't bend to their will or allow them to break the rules. And so I think when you're dealing with the United States, it's going to take a little bit of time to work out the best deal for us and the best deal for them. But I have a lot of confidence that when push comes to shove and people get right down to it, an alliance, a trading partnership, business dealings with the United States is a heck of a lot better than being reliant on the Chinese because they have seen what they have done to us and everybody else in the world. The decoupling and the isolation of China is a real thing, and it may be a little painful, but it's necessary.
Now, the pushback from Democrats with the support of mainstream media is they don't like the strategy that President Trump is using to fight against China. Now, you guys want to know what my pushback is? Where was your guys' strategy when Joe Biden was the president? Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't have one. So again, they criticize him for taking action when they refused to take action. And here's an example of that: Congressman Goldman doing what he does best on CNN, which is trash President Trump. Take a listen.
Any world where perhaps what President Trump is doing with the Chinese could help the American economy in the long run, or not?
I mean, not at this rate, where it's clearly just a sort of gut instinctive reactions, sort of an overly emotional reaction where he just continued to ratchet up tariffs because, you know, I'm tougher than you. That's essentially what his basis is. And that underscores, I think, what Jerome Powell said today about the uncertainty. There is no rhyme or reason. There is no strategy here that Donald Trump is implementing for our economy. And that was reflected by exactly what Jerome Powell said. We have no idea what the purpose or the point is. There are many different reasons. None of them explain these escalating tariffs, and none of them are going to be successful. So we're all sitting here waiting, wondering what he's going to get. And I certainly hope it's a lot more than just forcing foreign countries to take contracts from Elon Musk and Starlink, which was also reported today.
That's what they forget. President Trump is their president, and they should be rooting for him to be successful in all of this, not continuing to show up on mainstream media criticizing the president at every step. And again, we're only 100 days into this administration. Let me remind you. And the congressman was referencing the announcement from Jerome Powell, who is the Fed chair, who, again, he's doing what annoys President Trump so much, refusing to lower interest rates. Here's that announcement.
My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. Despite heightened uncertainty, the economy is still in a solid position. The unemployment rate remains low, and the labor market is at or near maximum employment. Inflation has come down a great deal, but has been running somewhat above our 2% longer run objective. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged. The risks of higher unemployment and higher inflation appear to have risen, and we believe that the current stance of monetary policy leaves us well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments.
Okay, so you have to understand why this matters to you, and also why President Trump is annoyed by this. Number one, by him refusing to cut interest rates, it keeps borrowing costs painfully high for Americans. Think about this. Home mortgage rates are 7% plus. Okay, that's high. It also chokes the economy at a terrible time when GDP decreased. Also, it punishes Trump's momentum when it comes to his economic policies. And I think the last thing here is it reveals that this is politically motivated, because he wasn't scared to cut rates under Joe Biden when the inflation was significantly higher. Now, all of a sudden, he's scared to do it now? Come on, man, give me a break. Now, here is Senator John Kennedy reminding everybody the reality of China and the serious threat that they pose. Take a listen.
China is our enemy, unquestionably. China, and when I say China, I'm talking about their government. China is also in a bad way. Their economy is weak as rainwater. Their economy right now looks like somebody chewed them up and spit them out and stepped on them. Their unemployment is way up, particularly among young people. Their property market has imploded. Their debt is sky high, particularly at the local level. Their numbers, their GDP numbers are inflated. The other point I'd make about China, how can I put this? Trusting China to do anything other than what is in their best interest is naive and inconsistent with history and common sense. The Chinese government cheats. They do. They can steal your socks without taking your shoes off. Now, but they need America. They buy from us, or they sell us about 4 to 5 times more than we sell them. And that's why ultimately we will win in a trade war.
And from the perspective of the president, this is why it's a national emergency that China has been ripping us off, stealing our manufacturing jobs, and we're continuing to experience a growing trade deficit. Yeah, so as I told you guys, Scott Bessent was testifying this morning, And Democrats continue to show why they're out of touch. They're questioning, number one, President Trump's authority in regards to tariffs, and number two, that this trade deficit with China is not an actual emergency. They're downplaying all of this. Take a listen.
4 decades, we've had trade deficits in the United States of America, and nobody said it was an emergency? Democratic and Republican presidents? You know what that says to me? That it's not an emergency because it hasn't been for 4 decades. It says to me that we should bring tariffs back to the United States Congress so that we can make that determination as the Constitution has said and not try to go around Congress. That's just unbelievable to me.
Yeah. Now, in case you guys didn't know this, it is true that tariffs is usually used by Congress, not by the president. But because an emergency was issued from the executive branch, that is President Trump, and granted by Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he now has the authority to use tariffs in an emergency fashion to respond to the trade deficits around the world, because that's how he has categorized all this. And Democrats are really upset because it seems to me that President Trump knows what he's doing, even though they'd have you believe he doesn't know what he's doing and all he does is golf all day, right? I'm sure you guys have heard of that. Now, to prove my point that Democrats are the ones who don't know what they're doing, here is his follow-up question to Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. Listen to this.
Let me ask this question. Maybe they missed it. Who was the president and who has been the president since January 20th, 2025?
Donald J. Trump.
Okay. And who was the president in 2024?
One believes President Biden.
One believes? You one of those non-believers that the election, the American people didn't vote?
I am not.
You're not? You said one believes? Do you believe in the Constitution of the United States and it should be abided by?
I believe in the Constitution of the United States.
So you believe in it without any second thought. You don't have to think about it. You believe in it and you would abide by it. Is that correct?
I have and I do, sir.
Okay. But do you know that a president has said he may or may not? He don't know?
Yeah, this is just a joke. I mean, listen, when they do these hearings, it's a dog and pony show is what I call it. Okay. Some of these people serving in Congress, they can't wait for a hearing because this is the only time they're ever going to get attention. Now, that's my own personal opinion. I wonder if you guys think the same, because I never heard of that congressman until now. And quite frankly, you could see the composure of Scott Bessent and why he has the utmost respect for most people. And I think if I recall correctly, nobody voted against his confirmation. Now you see why. And now we go to our next story. That is about Senator John Fetterman. And he is the next individual to be axed by the Democrat Party. Okay. So they are now leaking information about his health and his journey from when he had a stroke to the media. It's actually disgusting. But let's first hear from Congressman Mullen, who's a Republican because he works with them, and what he says about all this. Take a listen.
Let me ask you something about, you probably read the story, New York Magazine on Fetterman. It's like an expose on his health. From what you've seen, I mean, you're one of his colleagues in the Senate. Does he seem okay to you?
Yeah, I came in with John, right? And I've traveled with John. I think he seems to be cognitively better today than he was when he first came in as a freshman. So I can't speak to his health as far as, I'm not a doctor and I'm definitely not going to break any HIPAA rules. But it is kind of funny because the way the Democrats act is if you don't agree with them on all their points, they want to wipe you off the face of the earth. And it was just, a few short years ago that Fetterman was like this godsend in Pennsylvania. And he came here and they realized that Fetterman's his own man. He's going to speak his mind and he's going to say it the way that it is or the way that he feels like it is anyways. And they can't control him. And the Democrats are all about controlling their party. And so if you're speaking away from them, it's doomsday for you. And I think that it sure seems like that this is more of a planted story. But like I said, I'm not a doctor, and I definitely don't know his medical history.
All right, so that hit piece was published in the New York Times titled "Former Fetterman Aide Expressed Concern to Doctor About Senator's Mental Health." Now, the former chief of staff to Senator John Fetterman last year wrote to a doctor who had treated him, pointing to, quote, warning signs that suggested the senator could be backsliding on his recovery from a mental health crisis. So let's get this straight. John Fetterman, who clearly had a stroke, was not mentally all there in the beginning of that, was still elected, by the way, even though, there were some things that happened during that election that should have disqualified him. However, today he's in a place that is leaps and bounds where he was back then. And now you're releasing this story under the anonymous source's name. You don't even have the gall to release your own name. It's so interesting to me. Now, here's what Senator John Fetterman had to say in response.
Yeah, no one's ever seen that. It's a one source story with a couple anonymous sources. Hit piece from a very left publication. There's really nothing more to say about that.
He said he was worried that you're not taking your medications. Are you taking your medications, sir?
Again, the hit piece, anonymous sources, disgruntled staffers.
Yeah, so that's exactly what you would expect the senator to say. And to continue to show you the hypocrisy here and how the media just switches up on a person quickly, take a look at this example. New York Magazine posted this October 2022. Now, in the final weeks of the race, Fetterman is banking on the hope that voters will see in his vulnerability a new way to appreciate his strength. That sounds nice. And just 5 days ago, they posted this. John Fetterman insists he's in good health, but staffers past and present say they no longer recognize the man they once knew. Interesting. You see how they just switch up the tone? And here is CNN asking him about his reaction to this entire smear campaign. Take a listen.
The individual is a former chief of staff who has said that he's concerned about your well-being, which is why he went public. What do you say to someone like him who's concerned about? He says he's concerned about your.
Well, I mean, it's like now he's had a weird grudge, and he has threatened to do this for quite a while. And if you're really concerned about someone, you could say, hey, let's sit down. Can we talk? It's not like going to the media. And that's why somebody that has an agenda, it's like a hit piece.
Yep, that's exactly what it looks like to me. And that's my own personal viewpoint. But let me get yours in the comments section. How do you see this as it pertains to John Fetterman? Do you believe it's a hit piece? Also, let me get your reaction to FBI Director Kash Patel and the announcement they made about cracking down on child predators. Now, yesterday, SCOTUS issued a shocking ruling in favor of the president where they banned transgenders from serving in the military. But you got to hear the reaction. It's pretty crazy. So if you missed out on that story and more from yesterday, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that and let me slide down here and show you that this does come from Devory Darkins. I am subscribed to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, while this video is going on, I mean, this is one of the good things about Rumble Studio. And I kind of switched to Rumble Studio about the first of the month. And I've had some glitches because I wasn't that familiar with it. I've worked for a long time trying to get it set up. But Rumble Studio is not bad, as opposed to some of the other software that I've tried to work with. Let me come over here, and I'll try again to get this video to come up for ACLJ Sekulow. Now, I tried just a few seconds ago, and here again, this is one of the good things about Rumble is that I can do other things while the video is going on. No, it's not, and get prepared. But one of the other good things about Rumble Studio, I'm going to come over here on Facebook. Okay, as you can see, this is the video that I'm sharing on Facebook right now. Okay, and let me come over here. This is the video that I'm sharing on X, Twitter. So I not only can I do this on Rumble, but at the same time, I can share the video on Locals. I can share it on Facebook. I can share it on YouTube. And I can, although I have to be careful about YouTube because they've pinged me. It's amazing that I grab these clips, a lot of them from YouTube, and share it on YouTube. And they ding me because it's not appropriate information, even though it came from a video from YouTube. Whatever. Okay. And I can share it here on X. So I like Rumble Studio in the fact that I can make more people aware of the information that I'm trying to share out. Okay, I'm going to do something a little out of the ordinary simply because Rumble is having some problems. And Rumble's not as big as YouTube. Okay, and Rumble is facing a lot of interference. People trying to hack into it because you have a better chance of being able to tell the truth on Rumble than what you can on any other platform. I'm going to come over here, and this is my playlist. I've got 82 videos in my playlist for Mertech Daily News Wrap-Up. I'm going to play you some information in this, and so if you want to watch the wrap-up, you get to see it here, but I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the list. Ouch, Scott Bassett humiliates Maxine Waters on live TV. I think that's worth listening to. Let's come over here. Right here in my playlist for YouTube. This video from D.O.G.E in Exile. Let's go ahead and click on that. Okay, let's get this. Let me give him a thumbs up, and let's get this going for you.
News is coming in too fast. I can't cover it all. I got some Maxine Waters horror show for you. More horrifying than this bandage that keeps coming off. If it opens up, you're going to get a show of my skin cancer scar. Welcome to D.O.G.E in Exile, where we have some fun together, going over the news. A bunch of stories we're hitting, so we're going to go into those. And this isn't even all of them. This is the ones that I think are the most important. Here's Maxine Waters slurring her way through a speech.
In the first quarter, since Trump took office, the United States economy shrank, with our gross domestic product decreasing by 0.3%. We are falling behind while Canada, Europe, and China are racing ahead. What happened to the golden age you and President Trump promised the American people? Ms. Redset, you are also the face of what the Wall Street Journal has described as, and I quote, the dumbest trade war in history.
The Wall Street Journal. Yeah, okay. You're going to have to learn to read. Now, here's Jen Psaki. She took the place of Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow show. Remember, Rachel Maddow got just cut just to Monday nights. And here's Jen Psaki. She lost 53% of Rachel Maddow's audience share. So she's down.
Isn't perfect. No candidate is, by the way. But we have to understand what the alternative is here.
And in hindsight, we've now found that we're going to get into Scott Bessent, his Treasury Secretary, but so far Trump has an outstanding class of people pulling off his workload. Here's one of them, Stephen Miller, on we could lift habeas corpus rules for the first time in a long time by a president to be able to deport illegal aliens.
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at. Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. At the end of the day, Congress passed a body of law known as the Immigration and Nationality Act, which stripped Article III courts, that's the judicial branch, of jurisdiction over immigration cases. So Congress actually passed, it's called jurisdiction stripping legislation. It passed a number of laws that say that the Article III courts aren't even allowed to be involved in immigration cases.
So this is about Trump's recent Supreme Court victory, where it was 4-5. 4 were the four ladies. which is a real good reason why you may not want to have females on the Supreme. Judge Boasberg was reversed by the Supreme Court. That is, the temporary stay that they had on it, I should say, was removed, so Trump can continue his exporting of them. Now, attorney for the District Court of New Jersey, this just happened today. This is new to me, so I'm reporting it to you. The U.S. District Attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba, says, I can confirm that we have put Mayor Ras Baraka under arrest. That is the mayor of New Jersey. We will not stand for anybody getting in the way of getting rid of criminals in this country. He has been arrested and will be charged. This is about the Democrats storming a New Jersey. This is an ICE facility. You can see behind this razor wire holding MS-13 gang members. And yes, they did manhandle guards.
Well, I can confirm, as I have publicly stated, that we have put the mayor, Ras Baraka, under arrest. It's very simple, Martha. As I've said, in the state of New Jersey, as Pam Bondi has said, in the United States, we will not stand for anybody getting in the way of getting rid of criminals in this country. It's very simple. Unfortunately, the mayor has publicly for 3 days been saying that he's going to break in, eventually did break in, was given multiple opportunities to remove himself, failed to do so, and has been detained and will be charged.
These two members of Congress, can you explain the description of breaking into this facility, exactly what they did?
I'm not going to speak to things that are currently obviously under investigation. I think that if you look at their Twitter, they were very public about it. Look, here's what I'll say, Martha, very generally. There is a problem in this country with breaking the law for the purpose of grandstanding and political hierarchy. That will not stand in my state. That will not stand in this country. Pam Bondi has been very clear of it.
The big thing is he got arrested. This is going to create a whole new hullabaloo about that whole subject. But he broke into an ICE detention facility by force. And I saw him pushing guards out of the way. He and another gal were arrested. And I just want to remind them all that no one is above the law. On other good news, a follow-up to a story we did earlier, which is New York Letitia James has been served a grand jury subpoena. And Amy, the same way that Letitia James started against Trump, or Fani Willis started against Trump, was a grand jury investigation into him.
We've covered the civil Trump suit, the trial that went on forever. There were so many, by the way, to keep tally of all the lawfare that we've seen. And now you have this full circle moment of what the AG accused and charged the president, Donald Trump, of. Now she is being indicted by a grand jury, or at least we're seeing subpoenas issued by a grand jury now on the very same charges. What are the odds of that?
It's just irony all around. And I can't help but laugh at where we find ourselves now, because you're sitting here saying, this is somebody who ran in 2018 on making promises that she was going to take down Donald Trump. And I don't know if these people just continue to think that they are above the law and that what they do is just never going to get found out. But this should be a really big wake-up call to any other Democrats who have some skeletons in their closet, that someone's coming from you and it's going to be found out.
It took about 100 days of the Trump office for them to get to work and start scraping these people out. And speaking of scraping things out, here is Maxine Waters with Scott Bessent, where he makes a total fool of her as she thinks she has a gotcha on him on DOGE employees. No such thing as a DOGE employee. DOGE people are all members of the government. They do not work for DOGE. They either work for the Treasury Secretary or for the IRS. When they go into there, they always work with employees from within the division. Maxine Waters doesn't realize that. She thinks there's a whole crew of DOGE employees.
Mr. Secretary, did all the individuals working with DOGE who were given access to treasuries and CFPB's computer databases receive all of the required clearances and security training before they were granted access?
Again, they were granted read-only access at Treasury. There were two.
So let me just say,
DOGE employees.
Please, you can't filibuster here. This is not.
He just answered her question and she accuses him of filibustering. I think his answer was maybe 12 words long.
At the filibuster playground. And so what you did was you let these strangers into our treasury with access to all of the data, all of the personnel information, and you just opened the door. Why'd you do that?
No, ma'am. They were Treasury employees.
Oh, are you saying today in front of this committee that all of them were Treasury employees, that the 25-year-old who's being identified, who worked for Elon Musk, was allowed into the Treasury? Was that person there?
He was a Treasury employee, as was Tom Kraus, the senior person on the DOGE team. There were only two people.
There were
and they
DOGE
granted-
employees also.
Sorry?
Do you know, were you aware that there were DOGE employees coming into our Treasury getting all of our personal
Well,
information?
ma'am, there is no such thing as a DOGE employee. There were Treasury employees.
I tend to disagree with you based on the information I had. Has any information been downloaded by anyone working with DOGE from any of Treasury's or CFPB's computers? Answer yes or no.
Not to my knowledge.
You better learn.
Gentlewoman yields
Yield
back.
No, Maxine Waters, you better learn how Doge works. This is a Jessica Tarloff one. This one's I just put this one up because it kind of stinks. Here she is going, this is ABC News breaking. Radar screens at New Jersey's Newark Liberty International Airport went black again early Friday morning. The brief outage happened at 3:55 a.m. That's 4 in the morning, guys. A brief outage. And ABC News is reporting it. And then Jessica Tarloff says, this never happened under President Biden. Well, if it did happen under President Biden, you wouldn't know about it on ABC News because they wouldn't report it. Of course, screens went down under him. Now, here's a challenge, a recent challenge. This story is developing, guys. This one has legs. It's going to go somewhere. This is about Trump's exploration into crypto. He has a Trump coin that he owns, not he owns, but his family business owns. And recently, a bunch of, I think it's United Arab Emirates, invested $2 billion into his crypto coin. So it's going to be a huge profit for his family business. So now the media has gotten hold of it, but I believe this will be one of the impeachment inquiries that the Democrats will run against him. I believe it has some kind of legs. I don't think Trump did anything illegal. I'm only saying it's easy for Democrats to grandstand on this one, so they're going to go with this one. Anyways, the press asked, as Trump is taking a recent trip to the Middle East, which might involve some of these investors in his Trump coin, is he getting personal gain from it? And Caroline Leavitt just completely crushes the reporter. Watch this.
You noted he is a successful businessman. Do you know if the president has any plans to meet with any of the folks involved with any of the family businesses over there, or see any of the sites that are going to be?
Not to my knowledge, and let me just get to the premise of your question that both of you have raised. I think it's frankly ridiculous that anyone in this room would even suggest that President Trump is doing anything for his own benefit. He left a life of luxury and a life of running a very successful real estate empire for public service, not just once, but twice. And again, the American public reelected him back to this White House because they trust he acts in the best interest of our country and putting the American public first. This is a president who has actually lost money for being president of the United States. I don't remember these same type of questions being asked of my predecessor about a career politician who was clearly profiting off of this office. That is not what President Trump does. And this White House holds ourselves to the highest of ethical standards.
The clear criminal on this whole thing is Joe Biden. And so I would just challenge anyone with that. I think Trump looks better than Biden, and they had no interest in pursuing any of Biden's business dealings. Now, here's an interesting picture of Caroline Leavitt I'd bring up. This is Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is a super mom. So this is a picture of her bringing her little baby to work, and he's drinking from his bottle while she's working at a computer. I just want to contrast this with Pete Buttigieg, who took 4 months off for a baby he and his husband didn't have. And Caroline Leavitt brings her baby to work, and she's working like a trooper. Now, here's a very interesting personal note I didn't see before with Scott Bessent. We're going to wrap up right here with Maxine Waters, where she asked if she'd seen him before. She had no idea she'd met him before. This is a very interesting story. Watch this.
This is the first time we've met. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. We actually met one New Year's Eve in the Bahamas. And I was...
He didn't make an impression.
Why
don't I remember that?
Well, you were much better at the electric slide than I was. And I was with the Prime Minister of the Bahamas yesterday, Prime Minister Davis, who sends his regards.
Well, were you with my husband when he was the ambassador to the Bahamas appointed by Clinton?
So
Well, you're not going to like this.
What a nasty lady. You're not going to like this. He has a real, genuine, friendly connection with her, and this is how Democrats treat MAGA Republicans like Scott Dissent. He's a gay man, by the way, so I just want to say for all the DEI stuff where they're all saying they're pro-rainbow, look how Maxine Waters treats this gay man. They treat him with spite and hatred. Unless you follow their Marxist political thing, they will drop you, they will turn on you. They don't like you because you're gay. You're used as a tool. Black people, black women, you're used as a tool. Even the youth, they only use you as a cog. As soon as you're no good to their political agenda, they got nothing for you. They will treat you like dirt. But me, I like disagreement in my chat. You guys are welcome to say anything you want down there. In fact, my people, I've read the chat today. I'm just blessed with the most amazing, kind. You guys are praying for me and praying for my nose surgery and just poured your heart out to me. I don't feel like I deserve you. Thanks to you guys for watching all the way to the end. This is the end of the day. I hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow with 4 more videos. Hope you subscribe. That's how you thank me.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that there. Let me click back here. All right. So there you have it. Now that we've watched this, I'm going to take that out of remove it from my playlist for when I do the wrap up, provided I can actually get back on Rumble. I've tried to just sign on to Rumble and I get the same thing. Let me try again for ACLJ Sekulow. Okay, it's working. It's working, but not very well. Nope. All right. Well, I'm going to, on my Rumble channel, okay, I'm going to come back over here to X. Okay, again, this is the video. It's kind of delayed a little bit on the live stream on Rumble. Now, it shows under my stats here that I have 6 people watching this on Rumble. And I have this on my TV up here in front of me so I can see what's going on with my video, make sure my video is still running correctly. I have 6 people watching on Rumble. If Rumble was actually up, which I find this very interesting, that I'm still creating my video, and my video is still running on X, but yet I can't actually access Rumble and create a new page on Rumble, create a new connection with Rumble. So if you've got on Rumble before they started having this problem, then I guess you're okay. And I guess that's why I have 6 people watching. But over here on X, I have 17 people watching this video on X. I have almost 3 times as many people watching on X as I have on Rumble. I've got 2 thumbs up or 2 hearts, 2 likes on this. So far, I don't know how many likes I have on my Rumble. Let's get over here. I have 3 thumbs up. Okay, so I have more thumbs up than I have likes over on Twitter. But that's the way it is, I guess. Okay, we're going to come back over here and pick another one to share with you. Let me see here how much time I have left here. Let's pick one here from Newsmax. See, Trump admin is removing the woke cesspool in government. Sounds good to me. Let's take a listen and see what that's all about. All right, there you have it, folks. Let me back this up here. All right. Okay. Okay. I've given him a thumbs up. I'm subscribed to his channel. Let me come over here and to the main screen, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Okay. I do want to show you one other thing. Okay. Twitch. I'm also sharing my videos on Twitch. Okay. So this is the video that you're. Now I gotta pause this because I'm getting feedback from the video that I'm sharing on Twitch. So that's another thing about Rumble Studio that I like. Okay. Let's come over here to my main screen. There we are. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, folks. Let me get back over here. And I'm sorry that I wasn't able to share this other information with you. I'll try to get this information back to you, although I like to share what's new, the news that's new. You have the links in this description box here if you want to go ahead and click on them and I'll try one more time here to try to get to Bannon's War Room. I'm sure Rumble won't be down forever. Doesn't look like it's going to be working, unfortunately, and I apologize for that. Okay, let's come back here, and I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. I was thinking, okay, well, should I just go ahead and start my daily news wrap up, my marathon live stream, since I've got everything going now. But this is actually how I'm going to share this behind the scenes with you here. I click on this little camera plus icon here, and I go to Rumble Studio, and that's coming up. Okay, in fact, this is the video that you're watching right now. I'm 1 hour and 1 minute and 51 seconds into it. And when I click this end button, it will end. So I can go ahead and, I believe, create my daily news wrap up, my marathon live stream overnight. Again, I apologize for Rumble not being accessible. I don't have an explanation for it, other than I think that they're being, I don't know if you can see this screen or not. Here we go. Let me share this screen. Okay, so this is the screen that I use to create right here. I can create a live stream. I can prepare a video here and upload it, or I can do schedule a stream. But on this one here, I'm going to go ahead and try to create my daily news wrap-up. Again, I apologize for Rumble not being accessible at this moment, but these videos will be out there for you to view when Rumble does come back up. I do want to thank you for your time spending it with me. I hope you'll come back and join me during my daily news wrap-up, my marathon live stream overnight. As you saw, I have a great list of videos lined up. I'm going to go ahead and refresh that with some newer information. But I do want to thank you for your time. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again later. Hopefully, you'll be able to get on Rumble later. But thank you so much for joining me, and may God bless.